Oh, it's Saturday night.
Hi folks, I'm Farmer Tom, and it's Saturday the 6th of February, and the 6th day of our Cheese a Day challenge, and it's Saturday night, and we are celebrating. We're going to be tasting an amazing cheese this evening. In fact, I know this happens to be your favourite cheese. In the Twitter poll, you voted this to be your favourite cheese. It's an absolute belter, and I cannot wait. And tonight we're also going to be joined by a guy who knows more about celebrity cheese choices than anyone else, certainly in the UK, if not the entire world, so that's something to look forward to. And we'll have a couple of accompaniments this evening. I'm going to be picking out a glass of Sauterne dessert wine, which pairs beautifully with this cheese, and we'll also be enjoying music from the region this cheese was produced in, so we'll be listening to songs from Sir Harry Seacombe. What a great evening in store. Let's go! So welcome, Joe. It's so exciting to have you tasting cheese with us this evening.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
You're now, Joe. I know very little about cheese, but I love cheese, and I think you probably came from a similar position. But you've had quite a journey in the last 18 months or so. Tell us about how you came to be Joe Bangles, CBE.
Yeah, the CBE was a cheeky way of getting people to answer the question that I often ask. I do put it in the Twitter profile that it stands for Cheeseboard Enthusiast. Unfortunately, I don't quite have an honour from the Queen as yet, but yeah, the whole "what is your favourite cheese" question on Twitter was just it was a random happy accident that happened last April.
So you joined Twitter, and tell us the journey, because actually it all launched within the first kind of week of you joining Twitter.
Yeah, well, I joined Twitter and a few people said there's no point in going on there, go on Instagram, because Twitter's often full of people that just sort of spew vitriol and hatred. So half inebriated, I decided to ask Lord Alan Sugar. He was asking how things are going in the country. I said, "Sugar Tits, what's your favourite cheese?" And he replied within about 60 seconds, mature cheddar. And I thought, wow, I was surprised that he replied in the first place. So I asked a few more people, then Professor Brian Cox and the Monty Python legend that is John Cleese replied within the first 3 or 4 days of me being on Twitter. So I thought I'd dedicate my account to just asking famous people what their favourite cheeses are.
Gosh, and you're right. I mean, now you've dropped those names. I want to. So, what was John Cleese's favourite cheese?
Well, he listed about 5 because he does a famous cheese shop sketch from 1979 with the Monty Python sort of flying circus. He had gorgonzola in there and Venezuelan beaver cheese, which was a callback to his show.
Oh, amazing! And this has led on to a website.
A good friend of mine, sort of Ross, he does a bit of web development as well, and he said I'll create a website so people can track sort of who's replied, and he kindly done that. So I've just uploaded that as we've gone on. So that has a list of about 800 people's cheeses, from Elon Musk, the world's richest man. You've got people like Pink. You've got Prince William and Harry's uncle, Princess Diana's brother Charles Spencer. So yeah, you go from politicians, MPs, sports personalities, and potential royalty. So yeah, it's quite a mix of cheese responses,
and they're all united by their love of cheese, as we are. So that's amazing. And well, you haven't had a quiet lockdown then. You've been busy.
Yeah, especially because I've not actually been furloughed, or I've still been working 40-hour weeks in construction. So yeah, cheese has very much been an unusual sideline, but I'm happy for the cheese that I've been sent. Oh,
good man. And this cheese journey has taken you onto television, radio. You're becoming the cheese celebrity yourself.
Well, I kind of asked Piers Morgan. I say asked to the point where I hounded him. I probably asked him about 300 times, to the point where it was, let's be fair, let's call it what it is, spamming. And he kindly replied, said, I respect your persistence, and invited me onto the show. So that's kind of where it all blew up from, and done a little radio quiz on Radio 1 about cheese last year. So yeah, it's very unusual.
Gosh, well, I tell you what, you are more than qualified to be tasting cheese with us this evening. And I did mention at the top that I've got 3 accompaniments. You are one of them, and what we can do is we can give people a couple more tips as to what the cheese might be today. So the recommendation is a little drop of Sauterne, and being a Saturday evening, I'm going to get that open. Joe, I know you are off booze at the moment. What's your tipple?
Well, today I'm toasting you with the H2O.
Fantastic.
Tap's finest.
Nice glass of council pop, as we call it.
Absolutely. No fizz in it. No bells and whistles, but I'll leave that to the cheese.
Straight out the. Whereabouts are you in the country? What's your local river?
It was East London, so it probably would have been had a few body parts that are coming out of it. But no, I'm in Hitchin in Hertfordshire at the moment, so.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, I shall pour my glass of whatever this is, pudding wine. A bit too.
Are you a dessert wine, Tom? Are you a fan of dessert wine?
I am this evening.
Oh.
and that's what counts. So I've got Joe Bangles CBE. I've got a glass of Sauterne. I've got Harry Seacombe on the wireless here, and that all points to the fact to our cheese for this evening. So Joe, the cheese this evening is the Per Las. Now, I did have Abby on earlier this week as a kind of native pronunciation advisor. I've no idea if I'm right with this. I don't know if you have any further Welsh insight into the pronunciation of the Per Las.
Yeah, I believe it's Per, because a lot of people spell it PER and don't put the L on, but on their website it's got the L. So no, Per Las, I believe, is how it's pronounced. Just means blue pearl in Welsh.
Okay. Well, gosh, right. There's some good insight. So let's. Well, should we have a little? Just get straight into it.
Sure.
Fantastic. Wow. One of the things that the last time we did the Cheese a Day challenge taught me is that I really like blue cheese, and I came from a position of thinking I didn't. But I am a big blue cheese fan, and this. What are your thoughts, Joe? How are you finding it?
Delicious, extremely creamy, and again, like you said, up sort of before the whole thing started a year ago. For me, I was never really a blue cheese fan. I think Stilton was a little bit too strong and kind of put me off. But that is extremely creamy. It's got sort of a light saltiness to it, which is really nice.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's a great balance. It's a great balance. I could I could see that being a cheese I could eat a lot of. You're looking for a flavour to persist, to kind of carry on in the mouth, and that is, it's still going, isn't it? You kind of have a taste, it's still going.
It's a very good linger as well. It's sort of, it's got a fantastic finish.
Yeah.
And I can imagine if you bought a lot of it and was worried about not consuming it, that would make an absolute superb blue cheese for steak if you're inclined. So yeah, I think that's delicious.
Joe, gosh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, I'd definitely go for that. Do you know, I asked on Twitter for people's favourite cheese, and I kept a little record of how many people recommended each different cheese, and this one was the absolute, quite far and away, the people's favourite. So there's a lot of people who are a big fan of the Per Las, the Blue Pearl, and I think I'd count myself among them.
Oh, I completely agree. I think the thing is with blue cheese, a lot of people, a lot of people say they dislike blue cheese even without having tried it, because they just assume it's got mold in it, as if it's not in some way sort of intentional. It's not sort of a byproduct that hasn't been thought about, and it does sort of, it's the mold that gives it that creamy texture.
Yeah, gosh, it's absolutely.
Don't mind me if I keep going back to it. I know it's only meant to be a slight tasting, but I'll probably finish this.
I think I'm going to have no problem finishing this on my own this evening. Absolutely no bother at all. And do you know what? It goes really well with the Sauterne. So that's a great matching. So Joe, would you give me a mark out of 10? Where are you going with the Welsh Blue Pearl?
I think an absolute solid 9. Yeah, that is absolutely delicious. As far as blue cheeses that I've had go, that's got to be right up there.
Fantastic. And when I had a look on your website earlier this week, there is an incredibly famous celebrity who cites the Per Las as his favourite blue cheese. Now, who is that celebrity?
He does indeed. That's Derek, the weatherman. Shout out to Derek if he's if he's watching. But if not, we'll see if this can get back to him. But yeah, Per Las. Thank you very much, Derek. It's a wonderful choice.
Well, I can't believe the number of people who replied on Twitter with comments on their favourite cheese, citing this cheese. And you've asked 800 celebrities, and only one has cited it. I think we need to be helping our celebrity friends to expand their cheese horizon, because this is a cracking cheese, and Derek, the weatherman, is leading the way. I mean, gosh, what a great cheese! You asked earlier, do we eat the rind or not? And I don't know, but I've just eaten the rind, and one, I'm still here, and two, it's actually quite tasty. So
I'll join you and then research it afterwards, and it says under no circumstances.
Consult your doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to the guys at Cows Kenneth Creamery, that is a fantastic cheese, the Per Las.
Yeah, delicious. Goes very well with water, by the way, if anybody else is staying off the booze.
I can actually imagine this going well with anything, with kind of any kind of fruit, because it's got that kind of punch, and it wants something that's got a bit of sweetness with it to complement it. But mind you, I could, and I'm nearly done. I could just sit here and eat it from the block all evening.
Absolutely. Oh, in terms of like sort of crackers, Andrew Neil was the like the political commentator. He was the second person ever to reply, and his favourite cheese was Stilton, another blue cheese, but he likes to have it with digestive biscuits. I don't know if that's something that you've ever tried, but digestives and blue cheese apparently go quite well together, but who knows?
And did you have any other surprising celebrity favourites?
In terms of the actual, well, you've got a few people, especially comedians, who reply with a few unsavoury comments, but we won't delve there today. A few people have said
before 9 o'clock, Joe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't remember the first person ever to say kasumazu, which is the Sardinian maggot cheese. Presumably, it wasn't their favourite, but yeah, it's one that has live maggots in. It's a delicacy, and as most things are that are delicacies, aren't necessarily the most pleasant to eat. But yeah, somebody did reply with that, but I can't recall whom.
I've never heard of that. So it's a cheese, and what?
Live maggots in. So they introduced the larvae of the maggot, which obviously opens up when they make the cheese, and yeah, you cut into it and it's live. It's banned in the majority of countries because as soon as you refrigerate it, the maggots die and it becomes sort of unhealthy to eat. But by all accounts, it's meant to be reasonably palatable. I know Gordon Ramsay on a show that he done years ago tried it live and yeah, ended up spitting it out. So yeah, I think you'll find it in your local supermarket anyway.
No, quite. And Joe, you must have tasted a lot of cheeses this year. Now you've become the nation and possibly the world's premier celebrity cheese taste aficionado. How have you gone on this year? Is there anything that's particularly surprised you?
To be fair, like I said, I sort of probably had about 70% of my sort of life's intake of cheese in the year 2020. So there were so many cheeses I didn't know that I liked. I was very much a basic sort of, if it's on your supermarket shelf, but so many companies kindly sent me free cheese. I probably had I think it was about 30 kilos. I put it in a backpack because I needed to take it to friends and family to get rid of it. And there were so many wonderful sort of different cheeses I never thought to try. So yeah, the main thing I would suggest is try something new. It's better to try something new and not like it than just keep trying the same cheese you have over and over again.
I quite agree. It's easy to get stuck in that rut, isn't it? So yeah, and the UK's got so many amazing artisan cheese producers. So it's a great venture to be on. And Joe, how do you? I mean, cheese is known for a number of things. Of course, if you eat too much of it, it can attack the waistline a little bit. Although there are some really quite light cheeses. How have you managed to keep so fit and trim, apart from, I guess, throwing a lot of things around on a construction site?
Well, the first week of Christmas, I said that I wasn't going to have a shave until I got under 200 pounds. I was 220 pounds, so I've lost 20 pounds this year. As you can see, I'm a little bit cleaner shaven, so I met the target and I'm now 199. So yeah, I'm on the keto diet, which prohibits you you can eat as much cheese as you want on the keto diet because it's basically high fat, low carb. So no crackers with the cheese, but as much as I like.
It's looking to be seen. You're looking pretty fit and trim. So yeah, hats off to the keto diet and an unlimited quantity of cheese.
28th of February will be an interesting one when I've tried another couple of weeks worth of cheese daily, but yeah, I'll check in.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey. It's great to have you along, and actually we'll see as we go through each day. I'll have a little look online and perhaps we can both do it and see as we taste each cheese who the celebrity endorsers or endorsees are.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be wonderful. Thank you very much for having me, Tom.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Well, here's to you, Joe. Cheers.
Cheers.